All right, so here we are. Nicholas Lynn here with Neuromuscular Fitness Training. We've got our Xpress workout with equipment. So the first exercise we're going to do is lying hip flexion with knee flex. So the opposite leg is going to be extended out. I'm going to have the carabiner attached low, and it's going to be split my body. So I'm going to lie down. I'm going to pull the leg up. There's a small space in my back. We're going to hold that for 30. If I need to decrease the amount of hip flexion so it blocks earlier, I'll scoot further away. So we'll do each leg 30 seconds with the opposite leg extended. Then we move into a kneeling lateral raise. So I'm just pushing my arm out to the side. So there's slack on the daisy chain and I'm pushing out. The closer it is to my shoulder, the easier it's going to be. So I just got my hand lined up in front of that daisy chain. So if anything, it's kind of slightly in front of me. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to get to where this block's sitting up. So I'm going to put it around my shoulders, and you're going to sit up and try to, instead of just folding over, keep my chest up and go towards my toes. And obviously the strap is blocking, so you can really feel the engagement of your abdominals. But keep up nice and tall, try not to collapse. Then we're going to do kneeling torso rotation. So I go a little bit closer to the attachment. I'm going to place it around my arm, and I'm going to rotate. So I'm pushing forward and around, going over the outside leg. The inside leg is down. So do each of those 30. And then we're going to do shoulder flexion. So here, I got my palm up, and I'm just taking my arm up overhead. So we'll do 30 seconds here. And then I'll scoot back. So I have a couple options. I can either just scoot back or change the length on the daisy chain. For today's purposes, I'm just going to scoot back. I'm going to scoot back to where there's block, where my leg is trying to bend more. So now I'm just pulling my leg, pulling the daisy chain, so I can feel my hamstrings and calves getting involved with the knee flexion. And I just got my foot elevated off the floor just a little bit. So those will be our 6 exercises. I'm going to get my timer. All right. So we're going to start off with a single leg, hip flexion, knee flexion. All right, here we go. So here we are, got a small space in the back. You're pulling the leg up. You're thinking, can you straighten the other leg? So you're trying to get as much separation, trying to keep consistent pressure on this daisy chain. So I'm at my more extreme of the hip flexion, so it's hard for me to maintain a heavy amount of pressure. Just maintaining this position is a challenge. So next time I'll probably scoot a little bit further away. There we go. Now we're going to rotate. So we have just a few seconds to get it switched over to the other leg. Here we go. Pulling up and hold to keep that small space in the back. And I'm trying to relax everything else. I'm really focusing on the lower body, not recruiting my abdominals. If I want, I can brace, but I can also choose to keep them out of it a little bit and really just put my focus in on my pelvis and what my legs are doing, getting that left leg to go up as my right leg goes down. Trying to use the pelvis as a way of stabilizing the hips. All right, now we're going to move into our kneeling lateral raise. So I want to get to where it blocks my arm as it moves out. And again, the closer I go to my shoulder, the easier it's going to be. If I want to make it harder and allow my shoulders to generate more force, the further down, closer to my hand that the strap is, the more my shoulders will have to generate force to maintain that same position. So if you want it to be easier on the shoulders, you can just lift that band up. Okay. Good, keep holding, keep squeezing. So just flip around, and if you need to, you can put a pad down or roll a towel up to place underneath your knees. Again, the motion is my arm going away from my body. You feel it on this lateral part of the shoulder. You also want to make sure that you've got depression, you're not elevating the shoulder. Try to keep that space between the shoulder and the ear. There you go. Nice. All right. So now we've got our seated L. So this is more of an abdominal hold. So you want to get to where this is blocking you, where you can still sit upright nice and tall. And then keeping upright, I'm going to just lean forward, trying to just get closer to my toes, keep my chest up, try not to let that spine collapse. I'm really driving right through that pec space, right where my arm attaches to my chest. Try and keep that steady, okay? Switch sides. So again, that strap goes right around the shoulder. Here we go, stay up nice and tall, and then get towards those toes. Bring the toes towards the upper body. And it's really easy to start collapsing because it gives you that sensation that you're moving closer, but stay up nice and tall. It creates that internal tug of war. Good, and relax. All right, now we've got our kneeling torso rotation. So here you want to get close enough to where the outside arm is blocked before you start rotating, and then as you rotate over the leg that is out front, push forward with the inside hand to recruit more of the abdominals. So I'm rotating and pushing forward. And because the attachment is down low, it recruits more of a flexion component. Okay. Switching sides, the inside leg is down, outside leg is up. Pushing the inside hand forward. Keep that pressure steady. And relax. All right, next we're going to lie on our back. The first one we're going to do really close to the attachment so that the arm is blocked right about here. So here we go. Palm is down, palm is up. And we're just lifting towards the ceiling and towards our head, fingertips towards the ceiling. Feel that on the front side of the shoulder through the bicep. Keep that elbow mostly extended. You can start to flex it just a little bit. The more that it's flexed, it takes it out of the shoulder. Okay? Shake it out. We'll switch sides. So this side, I'm having to maintain more of that external rotation. My arm kind of wants to rotate back this way. Maintaining supination, external rotation is a little bit harder on this side. Trying to keep that tension nice and steady. All right, now we're going to slide back. Here we want to slide to where with the leg bent, it is blocked. So lying down, now I'm just pulling the foot back towards my butt. I've got the foot off the floor just a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and keep my toes down and out. And it's an option. You can keep your toes neutral. You can point them down and across towards the other leg. I'm pointing them down and away from the other leg. To work more on the lateral side, the lateral gastroc, lateral hamstring. Okay. All right, final 30-second hold for round 1. So use those eyes to check, see where your body's at, see if what you feel is similar to what you see. Using 2 senses to get feedback. Using that internal awareness, your sensation, along with the sensation of sight. Okay, all right. Here we go, back to the start. So I'm gonna get to where it's blocked. This time I'm gonna go a little bit further than I was last time from the attachment so that my leg gets blocked a little earlier. Here we go. Round 2. Small space in the back, pull that leg up. Taking advantage, there's a 15-degree carryover that you do about every 30 degrees. You get 15 degrees on each side. So that previous position was a further degree of flexion, which meant I was weaker. So by coming into a lesser range and strengthening that area will start to make me stronger in a more extreme range. Here we go, pulling up. And the leg that you pull up, that pelvis usually likes to rotate towards that. So to then keep your pelvis nice and level, you have to maintain hip approximation on this left side because it wants to rotate away and down. All right, back to our kneeling lateral raise again. So if you need to, you can have towels underneath your knees. This time I'm gonna go a little bit further away so the hand is blocked earlier. Last time I was able to get out here. This time I'm gonna block it real close to my leg. And so this just hits different sections of those muscle fibers. Trying to be nice and tall. Making sure those feet are aligned with your knees. Sometimes back here, the toes end up going together, which is hip external rotation. But try to keep those toes out, aligned with your knees. Okay, we'll switch sides. Again, use these couple seconds to line up, get in good position. I'd adjust there. Halfway. And relax. All right, now we're doing the abdominal seated L. So here I'm going to scoot to where this is blocked right around my chest, so about right there. So this time I'm going to sit up nice and tall, and it's going to keep me back a little bit. I can't get as upright because of how far away I am. Because I'm leaning back a little bit more when I'm getting blocked. This is going to hit a little bit more of my upper abdominals. Emphasize those upper abdominals just a little bit. Sitting up tall, it's easy to want to start collapsing. I started to feel myself collapse there. Keep that up nice and tall. Pushing through, you should really think about this rib cage area is trying to get towards almost the side that the attachment on, trying to get that rib cage closer to your feet. All right, now we got the kneeling torso rotation. This time I'm going to rotate a little bit further. I'm a little bit closer to the wall. Still pushing the inside hand forward, the outside hand away. I'm really letting the torso do the motion as opposed to just my arms. Good. Here we go. Halfway. Keep pushing forward, keep rotating away. Keep the base where you're making contact with the floor nice and stable. All right, lying back down, we're close to the wall for this first one so that it's blocked where your arm is going up. I'm going to really work on keeping the palm up. Here we go. And so you kind of get to a point where even just maintaining the position might be difficult. So then you just try to maintain that tension. You don't necessarily try to need to break the daisy chain or pull through the daisy chain as much as just even maintain that level of tension on it. Okay, shake it out. Here we go. Opposite side, elbow straight, lifting up. So here, there's a tendency to want to kind of elevate, but you want to depress that shoulder and then keep it all through the humeral and shoulder socket through that shoulder blade motion. Try to not let any of that shoulder elevation happen. All right, we're back to the knee flexion. So we're going to scoot back to where this is blocked. About right there. All right, pick that foot up and then pull back. This time I'm going to do my toes down and toward the opposite leg that's out straight. So down and in. And then notice my knee kind of going that same direction. So then I'm going to correct my knee and keep my knee aligned with my hip and let those toes go down and in. Okay, we'll switch sides. So trying to match, see how it is to do on this side with the toes down and across. All right, here we are, round 3. So now we're starting over. We're going to go to where the knee is blocked, or the thigh is blocked with the knee flex, knee bent. Final round. So this time I'm blocked the furthest away. I have the least amount of hip flexion before that daisy chain blocks my motion. So I went from the most extreme to middle to the least extreme. And this other least extreme hip flexion Now there's more effort in just maintaining the weight of the leg to maintain off the ground because it's closer to horizontal, where when you get the leg up higher, now you're just pushing against the daisy chain. At this position, you're dealing more with the weight of the leg and the daisy chain. So even though it gets easier on the total hip flexion, bringing the leg up, it starts to put a little bit more into the quads and just holding the leg, more of a leg lift. All right, so this time I'm going to go really close to the attachment. So my arm on this lateral raise gets a lot of motion and it moves a further distance before I get blocked. So now, but because of that, because I'm in a more extreme position, I'm also going to bring that thigh strap closer to my elbow. Because a more extreme position means less muscle fibers, less mechanics that can support and take on some of those forces. So I'm going to decrease the forces in this more extreme position by getting it closer to my axis of motion, which is happening here at the shoulder joint. And I kind of keep note of where I was located so I can set up when I rotate to the other side and get a similar position. Here we go. Even though we're keeping this steady, let your breath be nice and smooth. All right. Now we have our seated L hold. So I'm going to try and get even a little bit further away this time. So even I have to maintain a little bit more of the, so here, let's keep just a little bit. And you'll notice that I'll get blocked. And I have to maintain a little bit more of this leaning back. So now I've got not only the daisy chain, but some of my body weight, maintaining this leaning back position. Okay, we'll switch. Again, try to stay up nice and tall through the spine. It's easy to start slouching. Maintain that, and you just feel the pressure through your points and making contact where you're sitting at. You feel that actually increase. For every force, there's an equal and opposite force. So if I want to create a lot of force by sitting up, I know that an equal amount will have to go into the floor. All right, so outside leg is up. Pushing forward. I started kind of leaning back a little bit because now I started using more of my bone structure and taking it out of the muscles by leaning them forward into it. Keeps those muscles engaged. You gotta keep scanning through the body. The body is smart. It's gonna find the least path of resistance. All right. Now we've got our sitting close to the wall. Elbow is going to be extended. This time I'm going to go a little bit further away. So my arm is actually going to get blocked in an earlier place. So before I was able to go a little bit up more vertical with my arm. Now I'm more at a 45 relative to the world and my body. So this is even more possible because the attachment is down low. If I had the attachment up here level with this, I wouldn't be able to get blocked as well at this angle. Here we go. Nice slack on there, and then you can see it tighten up as I start to pull. Isometrics are great because it allows you to scan and find out what of the position is harder to do. For me on this side, it's maintaining. For me to maintain the pressure, my hand wants to rotate, doesn't want to maintain external humeral rotation and the supination of the forearm and wrist. Okay, all right, now we're going to scoot back to where this is blocked. This time I'm going to go a little bit further away. So now my leg is going to get blocked earlier on, which should allow me to create more force because I'm more in a lengthened position. When we start to get more shortened position of our muscles, we're not able to generate as much force. But not only am I less extreme, but my leg's almost at 90. So here's where I'm able to generate the most amount of force. And here I'm just keeping my toes aligned with the daisy chain. All right, final 30-second hold. Here we go. Pulling back and squeezing. So here it's a little bit harder for me to keep my toes aligned with the daisy chain. I can feel the toes when I naturally move. You can use a little bit of the sensation, how things feel, and relax.